Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Mindset with Mary podcast, where we dive deep into all things mind, body, and soul to help you live your most authentic life, step into your power, and manifest the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Mary, your go-to life coach, mindset mentor, and spiritual guru, on a mission to help you break through self-doubt, anxiety, and limiting beliefs so that you can finally create the life you deserve. Each week, I'll be here with practical tips and empowering insights to help you live with confidence and intention. So whether you're looking to gain clarity, master your mindset, or go after your soul level desires, you're in the right place. Grab a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot, let's dig in. Welcome back to Mindset with Mary. Today we are talking about things that make the manifestation process easier, because let's be real, manifestation isn't always just about the vision boards and the affirmations. There's a little bit more to it, and it has a lot to do with regulating your nervous system when you're constantly in a state of stress, burnout, and all of the things we start to feel when we're working on our big goals and dreams, because when we start doing those things, it takes us out of our comfort zone. So in this episode, I'm going to break that down and talk about the practical, science-backed ways to make manifestation feel a lot smoother and to just move through the process with ease. And let's be honest, it's not always going to be 100% cake. I would love for it to be that way, but every time we take a step further out of our comfort zone, we're gonna feel those emotions. And so we have to regulate our nervous system, which if you didn't listen to the last episode, please go back and listen to that, because that episode really digs into what nervous system regulation is, why it matters, and what all it entails. But to give you a quick little recap, and why it's important is because as we take these steps outside of our comfort zone, our brain is probably going to want to fight, flight, or freeze. And we're going to feel this energy of survival mode, feel this energy of force and fear and all of the things that it brings up. And that's totally normal. That's the way our brain functions. It wants to keep us safe. It doesn't know the difference between running away from the tiger and showing up on Instagram and posting, or, starting a new, maybe you're going to start eating healthier. And so the second you do that, you're putting yourself out of your comfort zone, and your brain's like, nope, 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 nope. We're going to lose all the things we love. And it feels the same way to your brain as if you were running away from actual life-threatening danger. So it's important to get in tune with your mind and remind it that you are safe, remind it that you are okay and that you can proceed. And even if you're rejected, even if, the podcast you post flops, or even if you post on Instagram and it flops, or this workout doesn't work right away, or maybe you're not really enjoying the food that you're eating lately, it's all associated with pain. And so you really have to start to shift your brain and start to remind it that it's not painful and you're not running away from this life-threatening thing. You're actually creating what you want and what you desire, and really start associating your brain with that. And so how you do that is you regulate your nervous system. And there's 8 things that we're going to talk about today that will make manifestation easier. So the first thing is taking breaks. Rest is super productive. I know for myself, for a long time, I didn't truly believe that. I do now. And I'm so very grateful for that, because I cannot tell you how much more I actually can get done because I allow myself to take breaks. Your brain processes new beliefs and ideas when you're not constantly working. So if you're working on rewiring your mindset and you're just constantly go, and you're in this stress response, your brain's not going to be able to process it as easy. You're not going to have that clarity and that inspiration and aligned action that comes with it. Also, sometimes if you're someone who is in the Instagram world or social media, and you're posting for your business, and you just have so much data and information coming at you. And so I honestly feel like it's so important to take a break to clear that noise so that you can get clear, so that you can tune into your intuition and listen to what is aligned with you. if you're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode because you're constantly going and getting on Instagram and posting and doing all the things and never actually getting away from it, you can't really tune into what your dream clients truly need and what they need you to show up on social media and share with them that day. Okay, number 2, playing. And if you like building Legos or playing with your kids, this is the perfect one for you. I'm okay with building Legos. I actually really, really, really like that. But there's other things when he like wants to play action figures and stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, not my favorite. But playing, what I really mean by this is doing things that make you feel good, doing things that bring out your inner child. For me, that's going and being outdoors, hiking, playing, going camping, getting in our side by side and going for a ride. All of the things, just getting time to relax, hang out with my friends, chat, talk, be silly, really just take a break and enjoy life, because the important thing about having fun is your energy naturally becomes magnetic. And it's crazy to me, and I will notice this next weekend once we get our trailer out west, finally. When I post this, I might actually already be out west camping. But I will notice this shift in my energy, and I just know being out there, like, it's crazy. Every time I look at my phone when I come back from being camping, like, I have all these notifications about, like, somebody signing up for something, or manifesting more money, or just things happen while I'm playing and having fun, because I just release this resistance to all of the things that my brain's like, no, you can't do this and you can't do that. I just release that because I'm having fun and I'm not even worrying about it, and I'm enjoying life, and I'm in this higher frequency. And when we manifest, and I talk about this all the time, your manifesting energy is in that play and enjoying life, because that's what the universe wants for you. It wants you to play. It wants you to have fun. It wants you to enjoy life. And so it will reward you when you're playing and having fun and enjoying. So start tuning into enjoying life more so you can raise your frequency and tune into that energy of manifestation. All right, next thing, sustainability. A lot of people don't like when I talk about this. They really just don't, because sustainability means taking small steps. And when people are wanting to create big changes, they want to start with big change. But what I've seen in my life, and what I see in so many people that I work with in their lives, for them to start small and slowly let that grow and grow and grow. And not even slowly, just allow it to flow into this. And I like to call it the snowball effect. It starts small, and it rolls and it rolls and it rolls, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, until all of a sudden it just is massive, and you're taking action that you never even knew that you could take. And it creates consistency. It creates this momentum, right? Think about when you are riding a bike and you kind of just start with these small pedals, and they're hard at first, and but then when you get the momentum going, it's like, then you get going and going and going, and it's a lot easier, and you're moving faster. And that's the same thing with sustainability. You're just pushing at first. You're going slowly, and you're not used to this yet. And so it feels hard, but as soon as you start to get used to it, as soon as you can start taking on more action, you just take it on, and you just keep going and going and going. And all of a sudden, you're taking massive action. All of a sudden, you're in alignment with the universe, because the universe is working quickly, and it loves momentum. And when it sees you consistently building that momentum up, even if it starts small, it sees you consistently showing up, and it's like, hey, she's really committed. She's ready. She is full blown all in, and it's time to show her that this is exactly what we wanted for her. Done. Manifestation happens. All right, number 4, shifting your mindset. And we talk about this all the time. It's just really about practicing new ways of thinking and staying in tune with them and becoming aware of the ones that are not helping you. Every time you tell yourself that it's hard, this is hard. And I'm not saying that you can't say that, because sometimes things are hard and sometimes they do suck. And sometimes it's important to be real about life. But if your story is always, this business is so hard, losing weight is so hard, going to the gym is so hard, and oh my gosh, I already feel my energy dipping just by saying it. You're training your brain that everything is hard, but the truth of it is, at first, yes, it's gonna be a little bit harder. And I love the saying, it doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. Back to the sustainability. Everything is always going to work out for you as long as you trust and believe that it gets easier. Right? This last week, I have had multiple people join the free coaching call that I offer and then cancel last minute. And that rejection sucked so bad. And it does suck. And it's going to get easier, because that's part of the process. People are going to call, or people are going to book. People aren't going to show up. It's part of the process. And I don't like it, but I love getting the practice of becoming more resilient. Because for me to become the life coach that I'm meant to be, for me to be able to show up in this business like I'm supposed to do, like I want to do, I have to be okay with rejection, because there's going to be people who are like, yes, I want to do this, and then they get scared and then they don't show up. And that's okay. That's what happens. That's part of the process. And it sucks at first and it doesn't feel good at first, but sooner or later it's going to get easier and easier for me, because the more it happens, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, the more in tune with what I need to do, because every time someone doesn't show up, it's an opportunity for me to say, okay, well, what worked, what didn't work? What can I do differently? How can I guarantee that when she books a call, she's showing up? What messaging needs to shift so she's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for this transformation. And even if she's only showing up for one call and she's not going to sign up for more, she's ready and she's showing up, because I've gotten in alignment with that. And every time it doesn't happen, it's just an opportunity for me to grow, for me to shift what's not working. And so being able to practice this new mindset, this new way of being, this new thought process, and being in the energy of it and feeling aligned in it is so empowering. And that does not at all mean that it doesn't suck, but guess what? I feel better because I'm like, hey, this is okay. It's part of the process. And if you give up now, it ain't never going to happen. So keep going. Keep becoming more resilient. And you do this, you practice new mindsets through repetition. The more you practice it, the more it becomes ingrained in your brain. These new neural pathways begin to form. And it's now a part of your habitual thought processes, and they're just happening for you. And you don't have to think about it. And even if you feel the suck at first, you feel the suck and your brain is now trained to go, okay, yeah, that feels pretty shitty. This feels hard, but guess what else? And your brain starts to shift and show you this new possibility for you. And when you're in the energy of possibility, you are so going to manifest the things. The things are going to happen. All right, number 5, mindfulness tools. Okay, now we're really digging into this nervous system regulation, like the actual tools that I use and that I teach in my coaching program and have a library for my coaching clients so that they can use and start to release the negative energy. I want you to think of your negative energy, that feeling of suck, that feeling of disappointment, that feeling of self-sabotage, the feeling of self-doubt and worry and overthinking and all of those feelings that we feel as we're working on our goals. I want you to think of them as dirt piling up on your floor. And every time you avoid sweeping it up and feeling the emotion or expressing the emotion as you should, it just piles up and piles up. Or maybe you're the kind of person who just takes it and shoves it under the rug and it just keeps piling up and piling up. Or you take it and you pile it up and you put it somewhere else. Or it just keeps piling up. Just essentially like it doesn't go away until you take the broom with the little scooper thing. I can't even think of what that's called. I know there's a name for it. And you sweep it up and you dump it into the trash. Or you go outside and dump it out. Your emotions are meant to be felt. Your emotions are meant to be expressed. This is why there's music. This is why there are so many ways to tune into them. EFT tapping is one of my favorites because it goes through this process of tapping on different points within your body. I think they're called acupuncture points. I can't think right now. I'm not going to go too into the details here, but you're tapping these things and you're moving through the emotions. And you start out with these kind of negative beliefs and thoughts. And you talk about how horrible things are and through these tapping or while you're tapping. And then they slowly start to shift. And then they shift and then they shift until they get to this point of where you want to be. So you go from overthinking to clarity. Through this process, it allows you to shift your thoughts into clarity, into feeling clear, calm, and peaceful. And it sounds crazy. It's like, okay, well, hocus pocus, bullcrap. And I used to think that until I started doing it. And I just watched as my emotions shifted. Because as I was tapping on these points and I'm like, this just really sucks. Like it doesn't feel like it's working out. And no. Like I felt the emotion and I could express it. And I was like, oh, I'm just so mad right now. And then I was like, but what if I allowed myself to believe something different? What if I opened my mind up to it? And when you question yourself, when you ask your brain questions, it will seek to find evidence. And it looks for it. And you start to feel this shift. And it allows you to move into possibility and actually happening for you. You're allowed to feel your emotions. That's why mindfulness is such a great thing, because you feel the human experiences that we're meant to feel. Because if we just keep letting them pile up, nothing shifts. Nothing shifts. The next one I really love is NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. This is a form of guided relaxation. You might also hear it called yoga nidra, which really just rewires the brain for clarity and focus. You just lay there while somebody walks you through kind of like I would say kind of like a body scan, but it's much more intense than that. And by the end of it, you're like, whew. And there's actually a little bit of research with non-sleep deep rest that points out that it's actually just as good as sleeping. Maybe not for a whole 8-hour shift of sleeping, but I know that when I wake up super tired, I will use NSDR to get that extra relaxation in and allow my brain to just calm down and get into that state of peace. And by the time it's over, I feel way more energized, way more peaceful. All right, next one is breath work. And this really just helps set the nervous system and shift out of fight or fight. I've just said it too much today. This is a process that really allows you to feel all the feelings and also push them out at the same time. One of my favorite ways to release negative energy is through breath work. And I talk about this in so many episodes. You can just turn on a song for 3 minutes and really just focus on your breath. You can do the 3-part breath where you breathe in twice and then just release it all at once. And that really just helps shift my mindset. It helps my brain realize that, hey, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm right here in my body. There's nothing I need to worry about. And also just allows the negative to move out and shift into being able to see things clearly. All right, the next one is meditation. Meditation really just connects you to your intuition, and it helps you create the space between you and your thoughts and the clutter and the noise, and just really helps you tap into your intuition. And when you start meditating, you're probably not going to feel that alignment right away. You're not going to be able to tap into it 100%, especially if you're not used to it, especially if you're typically a high energy person who doesn't deal with their emotions. And if you're that person, like, don't worry. I'm right there with you. I still struggle with this one. Meditation is not fun. I'm so insensitive when it comes to this, because when people are like, I don't like to meditate because it makes me feel anxious. And I'm like, yeah, it does at first, because you've never in your entire life felt these emotions that you feel when you're just there with your body and your mind, and you're meant to feel them. That's why it feels anxious. Oh my gosh. I cannot talk right now. That's why you feel anxious when you meditate. So if you're the kind of person that's like, I don't like to meditate, it makes me feel anxious, I really want you to open your mindset here. Open up to the possibility. Ask yourself, why does meditation feel scary to me? Why does it feel anxious to me? And start small. Go back to that sustainability. You don't have to do all at once. Start with a minute. Start with 50 seconds. And just sit there and be. Focus on your mantra. And the more you do it and the more you practice it, the more in tune with your intuition you'll get. The more you'll start to tap into that energy. The messages behind all of the noise that are truly there to guide you and show you exactly what step to take next. Because if you're an overthinker like me, meditation, I'm telling you, it is key, it is key, it is key. Because how good does it feel when you're like, I don't know what I should do next? And you meditate, and you get out of that meditation, and you're like, I know what I'm gonna do because I'm so clear-minded. Like, you just tap into exactly who you are and what you need and what makes the most sense. Okay, number 7, bilateral movement, and really why it works for manifestation. So things like walking, tapping on alternate sides of your body, or even just like dancing will activate both sides of your both hemispheres of your brain, and helps you process the emotions, which will reduce the stress and create those neural pathways, making it easier to shift those limiting beliefs. It really just helps you. One of my favorite things that I used to do is teach spin class, and it's crazy how I would, have a question about something like what I should do next, or whatever it was, and be able to, or maybe just processing. I was processing a lot of trauma when I was teaching those classes too, and I was able to just go in and allow the emotion to flow through my body, because that back and forth allowed my brain to work the way it's supposed to and process emotions exactly as it's supposed to. So something I do, and I talk about this in other episodes, so if you've been here for a while, you know I'm all for bilateral movement, especially if you're someone like me who has ADHD. Just that back and forth, even when I'm sitting here recording this podcast, I will tap my feet back and forth, or I will like sit and, I wish you could see me right now, but I just like kind of sit and like push my hands back and forth, up and down, or tap my legs back and forth, because it's really hard for me to sit still for this long. So I'm able to, like, even just on my toes, I'll tap my right big toe and then I'll tap my left big toe and just kind of just move it back and forth. And so my brain is able to process the way it's supposed to as I'm doing this. It allows me to not feel as stressed showing up on my podcast and showing up for you, because you deserve all of this awesome, amazing wisdom that the universe is like, hey, you should share this. And I'm like, this is scary, I don't want to do it. But because I can tune in to just my intuition and my gut and allow my brain to function the way it's supposed to by regulating my nervous system, I'm able to show up. And I don't freak out and I don't give up. So bilateral movement, I love it. Try it. Something you can do is just go for a walk around the block. And if you still feel the stress, go for another lap. Even just kind of, if you're feeling the stress and it's cold outside, just sweep your floor. Do something, like get your body moving, vacuum. It will really help you process it. Plus, I like to see it as like this. I'll like do like a little spell and get all witchcrafty. And we'll be like, okay, like this, and set the intention. Like, what is the intention of cleaning the house right now? To feel clear-minded, to feel at ease, to know what the next step in the process is. And sometimes I'll even use like oils and stuff like that have certain specific meanings to them. So that as I'm doing that, cleaning, that back and forth bilateral movement, as I'm moving my body, I'm allowing my brain to process and really just tuning into the energy of what I want to create. So whether you see that it's actually like a spiritual, like witchcraft, a spiritual way of setting your intentions and doing all of that, if you believe in that, great. If not, like just see it as this, call it like an anchor, right? In NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, setting that anchor that attaches your brain, or that pattern or that way of being and thinking, and allows your mind to tune into it. I'm not sure if that made sense, but it makes sense in my brain. If it doesn't, oh my gosh, reach out to me on Instagram. Let's talk about it. If you're like, what the hell is an anchor? And what the hell is NLP? I've done some training in neuro-linguistic programming, which is truly amazing. If you're like, what in the heck? Let's learn more about it. Make sure you book that free coaching call, because a lot of what I teach and a lot of what I help my clients with is this reprogramming, this rewiring of the mindset. And a lot of it is so much more scientific than we would even think. It's not just hocus pocus spirituality. There's a lot more to it. By the way, can you hear the airplane in the background? Anyways, back to the moral of the story. It's way more scientific than most of us might think it is. And I would love to show you these practices and these techniques and tools that can really help you rewire your brain. So book that coaching call and I can absolutely help you with that. All right, number 8, practice. If you want manifestation to be easier for you, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and practicing and allowing the process to unfold. It's about integrating new habits and allowing them to get easier and easier and easier. This is when we talked about sustainability. Show up and practice, and it's going to get easier. If you're scared to post on social media, post until it's easier. Because sooner or later, you're going to post and you're not going to be anxious about it anymore. because it's just a habit. You just wake up and you create your post and you post it. Same with taking care of your body, working out. We don't like doing it. Practice, practice, practice. Show up, work out, and it becomes a habit. And then on the days that you don't do it, you're like, holy cow, I have to work out because I love the way I feel when I work out. I love moving my body. I love how I feel. And you start to associate these positive feelings with what the outcome of your goal actually is. And you start to just enjoy the process. And that's what life is about. That's what God, the universe, your higher power wants from you. It wants you to enjoy the process. It wants you to have fun. It wants you to practice and have fun at the same time. Even if you're losing right now, even if things don't feel like they're working out, the more you can tune into having fun through that process. Even if it takes you 10 years to get to your goal, have fun doing it. Because there's no point in doing it if you're not having fun. Life gets to be fun. You have to find the mix between the hustle and having fun. If you're not having fun and you reach your goals, you're not going to be fulfilled. And a goal achieved without fulfillment, what is that? Boring. I promise you this, life gets to be fun. So keep practicing until it becomes easier. And as you start doing it, when you show up for yourself for the very first time and you're like, hey, Mom, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not gonna eat a whole bunch of caramels tonight. I know, you keep asking me to eat them and I'm just not feeling it because I'm really working on, not eating as much sugar because I've noticed that I get these really bad headaches when I eat a lot of it. And so I'm going to have one or two, and then I'm going to drink a lot of water to flush it, because when I eat sugar, I don't feel good. But I'm going to hang out with you and I'm going to help you wrap these caramels. But your brain's going to freak out when you first do that. And the reason why is because your brain is wired to think that it is going to disappoint your mom. And if you disappoint your mom, and this kind of depends on how you were raised too, but even if you don't have a parent that maybe like disapproved of you for whatever, or you didn't have that like programming from your adulthood, we're wired to please our parents. Our brains are wired to please our parents. Even if they were the absolute best parents in the world, we are wired to stay people pleasers so that we can stay a part of our tribe, because that's how we evolved as human beings. We had to, in caveman times, we had to stay in our tribe. We had to. Because if we got kicked out, then we were alone. We didn't have the tools and resources and the things that we needed. And we more than likely didn't survive. And so our brains are linked to this survival mechanism of people pleasing. And so you have to regulate your nervous system when that happens. So before you go to your mom's house and you're going to help her wrap caramels for Christmas, you do the nervous system regulation. You do the things that help you relax. And then afterwards, after you set your boundary and do the things that you needed to, you do the nervous system regulation. And you practice and practice and practice until it becomes so much easier. And it becomes a part of the process. All right, I love you with all of my heart. And so if you've been struggling with manifestation and you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you want this deeper support in shifting your mindset and your energy, book that call. Let's break through. I would love to work with you one-on-one where we can talk about how to shift these blocks that may be stuck for you, how to start setting those boundaries, how to start tuning into these tools that help you regulate your nervous system so that you can actually show up for yourself and start seeing the results. That link is always in the show notes. Make sure you tune in and let's create a real transformation for you, because you absolutely deserve it, because you're amazing. And if this episode helped in any way, shape, or form, Please share it with a friend. You can always print screen it. Stop, pause, print screen this episode right now. Share it on Instagram and tag me at Mindset with Mary. I love you, and I would love to hear how this episode helped. Make sure you leave a review. Mwah.